Hi everyone, welcome to Bitcoin Wyckoff Weekly. It's a weekend again, and let's quickly take a look at how Bitcoin is doing given the current price retracement. So as usual, we're going to the weekly chart. Let me bring the mic closer. So here, what we are seeing is, if you're not new to this, you still remember there are two upward channels, right? So this one in light blue and this one, maybe I should use another color, it's just too close, I used pink here. So the light blue is basically the upward trend since mid-late March time, and even with the current price retracement, the price is still within this upward trend. And if we look at the wick or the candlestick itself, it hasn't even tested the support of this channel. So the current support is at around 110,800 or 700, roughly around that range. Of course, that's the first support. The second line of support would be this purple line, and I have added all these price tags so you know the key levels, and it's a lot clearer when I explain to you. So from there onwards, there are multiple support levels, because the second one, depending on when the price would come down, if it really comes down that sharp this week, then obviously it will test the blue 91,000 first before it tests the pink. But I don't think it's going to do that. Hopefully not, especially for whoever that's looking for a further price climb. And if it doesn't, if it takes a few more weeks to come down, then obviously it would take the pink, test it at around 95,000 before it tests the 91,000 range. So the big question is the party over? Is the bull run over? If we look at the Wyckoff pattern, previously I mentioned there are two scenarios that I see that it may be the case. So one is the blue scenario, where Bitcoin is reaching the upthrust of the distribution, and the other is basically one step later. It's just the upthrust because of the prolonged PSY period. That's the yellow scenario. So given these two scenarios, what I'm seeing as well is the volume. So if we look at the volume at the bottom, past 2 weeks we have a little bit higher volume than the entire June, but during May it was more or less the same. So it's not drastically different. So if we compare what happened in February and the first week of March, when we had this crazy price drop, the volume is almost like double what we have now. So the selling we're still seeing at this moment is not that crazy. So that may be a little bit of, give some, like everybody, a little bit of relief as well. So as long as the price stays above this upward channel, that's not a big problem. But there's one key thing here. You notice this pink and the blue line forms an upward wedge, right? So according to candlestick patterns textbook definition, an upward wedge is a bearish sign. So when the price gets closer to the tip of the wedge, it doesn't have to go all the way to the very sharp tip. Anytime from now till late September, within these 2 months, it's getting closer to a point where it has to break out. Because either it has to follow this light blue upward channel and break above this pink channel, or it has to come down from the light blue and test either of the support, either the purple or the pink. So an important point is this pink upward channel is harder to break through, because that's where we have all these climaxes, or like all these peaks over there. If it has to break the pink, it has to have a very strong force. Remember what happened over the past few months, right? We have all the good news, the legislations, all the bills and all that, those were the fuel for whatever climb we had over those months. Now, what would be the big news for Bitcoin to go even further? Would it be more money printing, more crisis around the world? Are we going to see those news that push the price even higher, even crazier? Because breaking this pink box means it's going to an entire different trajectory. So you can see, imagine this is just, let me shrink it enough so it's easier to visualize. What I'm trying to tell is, imagine even though it's like a like zigzag shape, it's still kind of like a straight line, right? If it breaks the pink, that means it's going from a straight line to another slope, a crazier slope. So that's requires a lot of positive force to make that happen. So while breaking this blue one to the downside is relatively easier. Going to break the pink to the upside, you can see what kind of things needs to happen in the world for that to happen. So that's the backdrop and the big picture by looking at the weekly. Now we go to the daily. Last week we mentioned, okay, so Bitcoin is probably having an upwards period, and it has been trading sideways since then. As of this moment, it's trying to come down to test the bottom of the light blue upward channel. If it happens within these 2-3 days, that's around 112 to 113, that kind of price level. And let me enlarge this a little so it's easier. I have to enlarge this as well, so you know, it's not showing the stuff that we don't need to see. So what I'm trying to say is, besides the blue one here, there's an almost invisible line that it has broken below just today. Yesterday, arguably, it was still somewhere around there. So I'm talking about this support. This support is basically where these two green candlesticks exchange price levels. That's just on the 10th and 11th, just 2 weeks, actually not 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. So you see, over the course of the past 2-3 weeks, this level has been tested multiple times, and like the bulls has successfully defended this level. Just these 2 days. Yesterday, we may still say it has been successfully defended, but today it already come down quite a lot. It's even lower than what we had on July 25th. That day, looking at the volume bar here and the long wick at the bottom, the long tail here, that means there were a lot of people coming in to support the price and bought a whole lot of Bitcoin over there. These 2 days, however, did not happen. The price just dropped, and only today we can see a bit of buying force over here. But still, if you look at the volume, it's only like a third or 25% of what we had on the 25th. So be very cautious when the price comes to test the 11 and 1200 around that level, because that's the key support of the upward channel, because there's still a few days from today's session to next week's session. Anything can happen within these 6 to 7 days, especially the testing of these support lines. So just pay attention to that, and remember to keep your stop loss with you. And then back to the Wyckoff pattern. If this is really an upthrust, it's not abnormal to have, well, usually if you look at the Wyckoff textbook analysis, textbook explanation or introduction, they don't put an automatic reaction over there. They put an automatic reaction just after buying climax. But to me, upthrust of the distribution would have something similar. I would still consider one like automatic reaction after the upthrust itself. So it seems like we're going through that period or that stage, and after the automatic reaction, I would assume that there may be a second test next to it. Whether it will get to the level of the upthrust or not, and how long it takes, it depends on whether it breaks through this channel. So if it doesn't, if the price still stays within this upward channel and rebound from there, it will take a much shorter time to recover. So by probably in a week or so, the price would probably be arriving that point, even if it just linger along this bottom edge of the upward channel. By the end of the month, it will recover to where the upthrust was. However, if it breaks outside and only finds support at the top edge of this yellow box that's around 109 or 110,000, then it will take a little longer to get back up. Because that line, we talk about that this bottom edge of the channel, now becomes the resistance of the price. So ideally, if it also travels along that, it may take a few more days compared to it doesn't break outside, because breaking outside of this upward channel means people have to regain confidence to push the price upwards. So it may not always be that quick unless there's very positive news to push it back to test the new resistance over there. So that's the picture I can see by looking at the daily chart. And in terms of volume, we touched on like the crazy one back in late July with a lot of buying, but now it seems like it's dying down. And so hopefully we don't see this red bar, volume bar, but a longer red candlestick in here, because that signals that people are losing confidence and they're doing quite a bit of selling. So that's not something we want to see if you are in the bulls team. If you're in the bears team, obviously that's something you wish to happen, right? So